I think what I've come to uncover, like through this experience, this journey, I had to position it when I was going through cancer. I was like, listen, cancer is like such a it's just like a very charged word that brings a lot of, I think, negative energy, just because it shouldn't. It's just a medical, definition, but it does, right? And so I insisted. I was, the weirdo that insisted that everybody around me and my family, like, we called it my healing journey. That's what it was. It was my healing journey. I was just on the road to healing, and that is what we were doing. And there was no other option besides that. Like, I had this baby in me. Like, I was gonna get better, and I was gonna be a mom to this child. And there was no way that anybody was gonna tell me any differently.
Fear stops us from achieving our true greatness. Are you a professional woman who is feeling stuck, unmotivated, or burned out? Are you worried about your wellness? Are you letting fear stop you from crushing your goals? If you answered yes to any or all of these, then this is the podcast for you. Dr. Charmaine Gregory, night shift emergency physician, burnout thriver, and wellness champion, along with everyday heroes just like you, will explore how to face fear in our lives and emerge victoriously.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the next video comes out. It only takes 2 seconds to make 2 clicks. So let's do it. Let's get back to the video. Hello, Fearless Freedom Tribe. This is Dr. G. And today we have Kristen Chester, and she is going to tell us about all the incredible things that she's up to and who she is. Go ahead, Kristen. Awesome. Let us know.
Yeah, sure. I'm so excited to be here with this tribe. My name is Kristen Chester. I am the founder, and what I like to say, the chief caftanista of a new up-and-coming sustainable women's wear brand. We're focused on creating bold, bright, colorful, pattern-forward caftans and jumpsuits. And my goal is to really just help women bring out the most powerful, colorful, just vibrant versions of themselves. So that's who I am. And I'm super excited to be here with you guys.
Okay, so in that, I know there are several stories, so we have to dig those out, okay? Because you don't just like all of a sudden like have a brand and, have a purpose like you have without there being at least one backstory. So you got to tell us, like, how did you get there? How did you decide to do that?
I'm going to take it back to January 2020. So 2020 was a crazy year for us all. And at the time I was 6.5 months pregnant with my first and only son, his name is Rowan. He's actually going to turn 2 this Saturday. So super exciting.
Happy birthday, Rowan.
Yeah, thank you. And at 6.5 months pregnant, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was, as you can imagine, a big, big surprise. I come from a line of women who have suffered from breast cancer. My mom had breast cancer. She's a survivor of, I want to say, 6 or 7 years at this point. My grandmother had breast cancer. She passed away from it when she was 53 or 54. My great-grandmother had breast cancer. She got it when she was in her 30s. She passed away from a second round in her 70s. And, I had been doing all of the things. I had gotten genetic testing. I didn't have any of the genes. I had been doing early mammograms. Everything was coming back clear. And I became pregnant, and I had a pain in my right breast. And, at my kind of, 8-week or 10-week appointment with my OB, I brought it up, and, it was, I wouldn't say it was dismissed, but it was, like, your body's changing, right? You're pregnant.
Right. Yes.
Your boobs should be changing. And,
right.
We'll monitor it, but this is just normal. This is part of the process. And so that pain continued throughout the pregnancy. And again, it was, okay, this is just, you're producing milk, right? You're getting ready to produce milk. This is what normally happens. And finally, at around 6 months, I just remember I had taken my dogs out for a walk, and there's this beautiful kind of pocket of woods by my house. And I sat down and I just thought, there's something really wrong. I know there's something really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I called the doctor. I talked to the nurse. I said, okay, can you get me in tomorrow? So they did. And, when they looked at it, when they felt it, it was basically, they felt a lump, and they said it's probably just a milk duct cyst, basically, which is common. And, but let's go get you checked out, but no urgency.
Okay, good. Right. Tomorrow. But I'm glad that they did not dismiss it at that point. Yes, because ample concern, right? Ample concern.
Yes,
there.
Ample concerns. You should be ample concerned. And so I said, okay, all right. Do I need to go in like now? And they're like, no, just whenever you can get in, like a week from now. And so I made an appointment. I went in the following week. I took a biopsy. I, at the time, was what you would call a kind of corporate workaholic. We could go into that in a whole different episode. And was a management consultant, and my client was down in Mexico. And so the next week I got on a plane like I normally did and flew down to my client and was working my butt off and got the call that I had cancer. And
oh my gosh.
It was really a crazy moment. I remember being at my client's office space and stepping out and calling my husband, and just both of us breaking into sobs, and calling my parents and breaking into sobs. And
oh my gosh.
And we all kind of flew back to Atlanta, where I live, and and just started the process. And I ended up doing kind of 2 big rounds of chemo, one before, like basically 4 sessions of chemo before my son was born. We induced him 4 or 5 weeks early so that I could, as quickly as possible, get into my big next rounds of chemo. And then I had a double mastectomy and reconstruction and multiple surgeries after that. So it was, this is a long story behind that's a lot. Right? But, and all during like the thick of like when
the pandemic, when things were like not the norm.
It was, my parents moved in with us. There was a whole lot of things going on. And,
but your son is okay. Cause you got chemotherapy while he was in utero. So, he's okay. In utero.
He is okay. He does have cerebral palsy, which, they've taken the chemo out of the equation as terms of what happened for him. But he's doing beautifully, and he is just the most, resilient. When he was in utero and we found out about the cancer, I said, he is going to be this gentle warrior. And that is exactly what he is. He is so resilient, but so loving, and the biggest heart. And that kid's been through a lot already, and he's only 2.
Before he was even born.
So he's a really cool kid. Awesome. And I'm very lucky. So, during that time, I was, especially during chemo and during my surgeries, for anybody who has gone through cancer or been a part of that cancer journey with someone that they care about, which unfortunately so many of us have been, that journey is just, it wrecks you. Like it wrecks you physically, it wrecks you mentally, it wrecks you emotionally. And I was at my lowest, right? I had just had a newborn. I was going through chemo, and I also was losing all of my hair, and I didn't look like myself. And I just remember at that time, I was just in this uniform of like oversized men's button-up t-shirts from like Target, and like big baggy sweatpants, and which is, that's what I should have been in, right? That was what was comfortable and easy. But I remember walking by the mirror one day, and, I didn't look like myself. I didn't feel like myself. And I looked in the mirror and thought, I just want to be able even though I know that I can't physically look like myself now. I know I physically can't feel like myself now. I just want to be able to wear something that makes me feel alive. And
that's awesome. That is awesome.
and just this idea of these bright, beautiful, bold, like crazy out there caftans came to me. And I was like, well, they're comfortable. They're, easy to wear. Why don't people wear them all the time? I don't really know. And so I really thought about it as a joke for a long time. I joked about it for my sister and friends. And then
or you're just going to gift them a whole bunch of these, right?
Exactly. Like, hey, by the way, thanks for joking along with me around this. And about a year later, I was talking to some new friends, some new women that I had met, and jokingly mentioned this. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we want that. And
awesome.
So I thought, oh, okay. And it just kind of started from there. I started to research, and I've never been into art. I had never been into fashion. This was not something that was ever on my path. I was in this very, I went to business school, and then I was a management consultant, and I was in the corporate world for so long. And it actually ended up being, went back into the hospital because I was having complications from one of my surgeries. And I was there for a week, and I had gone through all the Netflix, all of the Amazon Prime, all
the binge watching,
and I was just totally bored out of my mind. And I said, and I couldn't work, and I Googled, how do you start a sustainable fashion brand? And that's
and you found hits for that?
Yes, I did. I shockingly did.
That's awesome.
And it just kind of started snowballing from there. And that was last May. It's now April, and I'm on track to launch my first collection in June, which is
that's awesome. Yay. That is amazing.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, that's long-winded, but
that story was gold. No, seriously. Wow. What a purpose behind this. I think, wow, you should be are you telling the story like when you're marketing? I mean, I don't mean to but I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was there. I was like, oh my God, yes, I totally see that. And I remember exactly how I felt. Like, I didn't go through breast cancer, but we've had young family members who have gone through it as well. And it's like, I could totally see that. Like, yes, why not wear something colorful, something comfy? Like, yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. And I think what I've come to uncover, through this experience, this journey, I had to position it when I was going through cancer. I was like, listen, cancer is like such a it's just like a very charged word that brings a lot of, I think, negative energy, just because it shouldn't. It's just a medical, definition, but it does, right? And so I insisted. I was, the weirdo that insisted that everybody around me and my family, we called it my healing journey. That's what it was. It was my healing journey. I was just on the road to healing, and that is what we were doing. And there was no other option besides that. I had this baby in me. I was gonna get better, and I was gonna be a mom to this child. And there was no way that anybody was gonna tell me any differently. And I think what I've discovered through that was, it wasn't just me as the cancer patient who wanted to feel beautiful again and feel vibrant and bold, but it was this almost this unlayering of who I was as a woman, and this feeling of there's this bright, fiery spirit that is so strong within women that we just kind of dampen down. And
yes.
I just want to help women unleash that you don't have to have gone through cancer, right? You could be at any stage of your life. And so that's really like my secret mission behind what I'm doing. The like under the radar, like we're gonna dismantle everything and just have just kind of like unleashed, beautiful, bold, crazy, colorful female energy everywhere. But
I love it. I love it.
That's what I'm going for.
I'm not wearing my Empower Woman t-shirt today, but
exactly.
Sometimes I wear that one. That
I love
my fearless.
I love it.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love it. Love it. So, there has to be, so you have painted a very vivid picture of what you experienced over the last 2 years. And, thank you for sharing that, because I know that it took you probably several times talking about what happened to you to get to the point where you're able to share it so coherently, right? Without obviously breaking down in tears and like, because how you felt like when this all was happening, you probably felt horrible, right? But you had a very strong why. Yes, indeed. But you had a very strong why, right? Your son
huge
was a huge,
the biggest
why. Yes, exactly. And so that, and then you did something which I thought was quite remarkable. You changed the vantage point of the experience, right? So yes, it's cancer. Yes, it's something that is, incredibly uncomfortable to go through as a process, having it as the treatments, getting better from it. And so you like totally changed the moniker to, your healing journey. And I felt like that speaks volumes, right? Because, there's something to be said about how, and I'm speaking as an allopath right now, as an allopathic physician, we're trained to like diagnose the problem, provide, options for remedying the problem, but we're not trained to like help the most powerful healing organ, the most powerful healing source within us, which is our mind, right? And our mindset, our perspective. And so, you got to that place. I don't know how you came about it, whether it was a raw drive from saying, look, I'm going to be my little guy's mom and nothing is going to stop me. Or, whether you had a moment where you got a chance to do some introspection and just really like say, you know what, this is the path that I'm going to need to take in order for me to overcome this. Because there had to be a tremendous amount of fear that played a role here. Like, for everything from the moment you heard the news, oh my gosh, the fear of what's going to happen to my baby, what's going to happen to me, how will I even get back to the States? Like all these things, right? And then what will happen if it's something that is not able to be treated? Like what kind of side effects am I going to have? The list goes on and on and on. But then to take that fear and then to turn it into some very constructive energy, which is what you did. You totally said, you know what? It may be ugly. It may not be like, the most beautiful ride, but I'm going to think about it like it's a beautiful ride. Yeah. And that, I think, is the thing that probably drove you towards healing the fastest.
Oh, hands down. I tell people that I believe that I think I was very lucky. I think I was also had just an amazing support system, but I also think that my optimism and my just insistence and it is a choice and a muscle I had to build to continuously say, like, no, I will not bring in the negative, the kind of the world is ending. I will not, I just won't do it. And I refuse to do it. And of course I had moments. I can't tell you how many times I would like the shower or like when I was peeing was when it was just, nobody else was there. And I would just break down and sob. But I remember being in the shower with the water coming over me and thinking about my son in my belly and saying, you are strong enough. You are strong enough. You are strong enough. You can do this. You are strong enough. You are strong enough. You're going to do this. You're going to be this baby's mom. You can do this. And I honestly, I think that positivity and that just inner, just stubbornness, maybe, it really helped me and it helped those around me, I think, like my family. And, in terms of how I got there and how I spent a lot of years in therapy, I'm not going to lie, like I am a huge
therapy works. I mean,
yes,
it does.
It works. And, I almost like wonder if like all of the work that I had been doing up until that point, right? I had spent a lot of years working on stress and anxiety and my depression and my just pretty unhealthy tie to my work and, my just workaholicness and how to just decouple myself from that. And I spent I'm a very open person by nature, and I'm a very curious person by nature. And so, I would try any type of new type of therapeutic technique or modality and just explore. And I honestly think that it must have been for a reason that I was doing all of that work so that when I came to this point, I was able to do it in a way, and I did not allow myself to get sucked down into the vortex of what disease and illness and anything that is really, really, really life-threatening or scary can do for somebody. So I'm not saying I didn't have those moments. I did, as I mentioned, when I was peeing or when I was in the shower.
Sure.
But,
no, absolutely.
But
the overarching theme is that you were able to face your fear and have a plan for overcoming it.
Yes, exactly. And, I continued to see, even though it was COVID, I continued to see my therapist like virtually via Zoom. And I, had other things that I employed. I did a lot of, I was too exhausted, to be honest, to like meditate, but I would every day, generally, I would listen to some form of meditation. Okay. Just things like that helped to focus my mind. And I found that to be really, really, really important because it's very easy to go to the worst case scenario.
Oh, yes. That is the easiest route.
It's the easiest route, so, for sure.
Man, no, that's great. Hey, it's Dr. G, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank you for listening to this episode. I'm so honored to have you here with me. Did you know that I can help you to get your own podcast started? With my podcasting launch course for professionals, I walk you through everything you need to know about starting a podcast. I'm with you every step of the way, from sign up to launching your show, with 5 episodes ready to go. There's a done for you version that's also available. If you would just rather just do recordings and leave the behind the scenes work up to us, then that one is definitely for you. But either way, we've got your back here at Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Oh, if you already have a show and you need production services, we have monthly plans available for you. So check out the links in the episode show notes for more information. Let's get back to the show. No, I think that you are absolutely correct. Like a lot of times we are going through something and we don't actually understand why we're going through it, or we're exploring these different paths and we're not sure, like, well, is this really going to get me anywhere? It's not until sometimes years later that it becomes very evident that that experience was quite important. So I'm glad that was how it turned out, because it really allowed for you to have a strong mind, which, as you stated before, that's the thing that really helped you through that experience, right? That's that really, really, really bumpy road, in your path. So no, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Now, yes, no. And then you have the fruit of your labor, literally labor, right?
Yes, labor. And he's
a lovely human,
beautiful human.
So, so there's that, that's a legacy.
Exactly. I mean, I just feel so lucky. And I tell him literally, like, every day, like, I am the luckiest person because I get to be your mom. And it's true. There's just like, and, I would think all moms think that way, but, I feel especially lucky.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that energy, that positive energy will be transferred to him. There's no doubt. No doubt. Yes. And that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So you got to tell us now. So you got to the part of the story where you're telling your close friends and family, oh, this is like kind of like a joke. Like, we're going to do this thing, whatever. I'm going to gift you these lovely garments. And then how did you go from that to actually production? Because there are steps there, right? I mean, there's like a whole lot of steps.
Yeah. And steps that I had no idea about, literally zero idea about how to do it. And the way I did it, I actually found an amazing program and course. It's called Factory 45. And it is both a kind of a community and I like to call it an accelerator for sustainable fashion startups. And it's very cool. I didn't know it existed until I was in that hospital bed, Google searching, because I was so bored. And the founder, her name is Shannon Lauren. She's just incredibly bright, incredibly smart, incredibly, approachable. And you can tell is really invested in the people that she brings on and the brands that she brings on. And so that has really been my backbone in terms of, I mean, I would have never done anything. I would have just kept joking about it and maybe done a little something, but I mean, really that has helped me know, okay, how do you source materials? And specifically, how do you source sustainable materials? Right. How do you find ethical and fair labor manufacturing? What are the pros and cons? Where do your trade-offs? How do you even, like, I literally have never sewed in my life. Like, that is like, I am like, know nothing, guys, about, I've learned a lot in the past year, but like this, I didn't go to fashion school. I had a vision for what I wanted. Right. And now I'm making that vision come to a reality. But, so my first step was finding the type of fabric that I wanted to work with. I had done sketches. I mean, again, this was also when I was in bed recovering. I, took an online, couple hour long course on fashion drawing. And I just like, that's awesome. In bed recovering, and I was you're like
building skill sets from the bed.
I know, exactly. I was like, listen, I've got nothing to, I'm resting and recovering, but like, I think I had been so used to using my mind all the time with work. And so I needed to direct it somewhere. And so started sketching out what these garments would be like. And I won't say that I'm an artist of any caliber at all, but I think I always credited myself. I never gave myself I always said, oh, you're not good at art. You're not good at creative stuff. You're not. And it's just not true. And
the lies we tell ourselves, really.
The lies we tell ourselves.
Yes.
And so I had these sketches and then knew the kind of type of feel of fabric I wanted to go for, but didn't know what fabric, types were, the weaves, the, knits, any of whatever, all of the stuff that it consists of it. So, I mean, I started reaching out to fabric suppliers that specialized in sustainable and eco-friendly fabric, and just got, hundreds of fabric swatches. I've got like fabric swatches all over my house at this point, but, and then kind of landed on one that I thought could be good, but I was like, I have no idea, because I don't know what it's going to be like when you construct it. And so then it came down to finding a development partner that I could trust and work with, who could help me with drafting the patterns for the garments and doing sewing sample garments, and then working with me on, finding the right production partners who, like, I knew I wanted to, I'm from Los Angeles originally. I knew I wanted to localize everything as much as I could in LA. I'm a 4th generation Angelino and 8th generation Californian. It's part of me. Like it is like the city and the state and is just a part of me. And it's just very important for me that I do everything there.
Sure.
And also from a sustainability perspective, and also from an ethical kind of fair labor perspective, it was important for me because it gave me access to be able to go see where things were being manufactured, meet with my suppliers.
Right.
And so I found an amazing development partner who I work with out in LA, and she does just small batch manufacturing, focused on sustainable brands. And so we've been working together on building out the patterns and creating sample garments. I'm launching with just two styles. One is a caftan, like I envisioned in my dream. And then one is a kind of a coordinated set, a blouse and a pant that you can wear together or separately. And it's like fun, it's relaxed. The whole collection theme is La Dolce Vita. So the idea of the sweetness of life, which is kind of what I came to after my journey, was like every moment is worth enjoying. Every moment is sweet. And so it's got this, what I like to call, like, the way I imagine my future customer or client is like they're having an amazing time at like a 1960s, 70s Italian, like Riviera cocktail party. Like that's what I'm trying to like bring to my people who are wearing these clothes. And
I can see the vibe. I'm visualizing it.
It's fun. It's fun, and it's bold, and it's really it's relaxed and it's chic. And so, I found a great development partner who was a seamstress and a pattern drafter, and we've been working together, and it's been a fantastic partnership so far. And really our next step is to move into actual production. So that will be happening in the next month, and then looking to, as I mentioned, launch and to the world, see what people think.
Yes. Okay, so now that's a perfect segue. So you need to tell the audience how they can find out more about the brand, etc., support you when your launch comes out, etc. Like, do you have a website?
Yes, I would. Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram, and it's at Casa Danu. Casa.
Yeah, thank you.
CANU. And also, if you sign up for my newsletter, you just go to casadanu.com. Again, CASADANU.com. I share with my email list kind of when we're going to be launching things. I share kind of sneak peeks behind the samples and the decisions I'm making, and ask for their opinions. So it's a really great group and community that I'm trying to build. So I'd love for anybody who's interested to join along on this crazy, colorful ride.
No, that's fantastic. No, that's great. I love it. I love it. Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely hit it out the park with the pearls. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, people don't really like, I think what happens to us is we tend to feel like, oh, our story's not that incredible. Oh my God. Yes, it is. Like, it's incredible. Like, share that story.
I mean, I can't even, like, most days like I forget that it happened, which is weird, and then I've got days where I'm like, oh shit, that happened.
Yeah, that
And
happened. Yeah, that happened. Like that was my
like,
life. That was me.
that was my life. And like now I'm here because, and it's very, most of the time I'm like, oh, I'm just taking care of my toddler and, doing the normal, getting the groceries and, doing the normal things, trying to make work happen when the times that I can. And, but yeah, and then sometimes I have those moments where I'm like, oh no, like, woo.
Yeah.
You did it, girl.
Hold up.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yes, no, seriously. No, that's fantastic. Oh, that's so good. So good.
Mhm.
So so everybody's gonna go and they're gonna check it out. They're gonna like check out your launch. It's gonna be amazing. Like I know it is.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out after this too. Like check out what you got going on the site there. Sign up for the newsletter.
Yes, please do. And listen, I'm just gonna be honest, like I'm not great on Instagram yet. Like I'm still learning all of the ropes and all of that stuff. So don't judge people.
Listen, I don't judge because I feel like, honestly, if you just go and do something, that's better than like what is out there that's all glossy and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel like that's not authentic. I feel like people really appreciate it when you're authentic and you just share yourself. So I don't ever judge anybody's Instagram.
Thank you. That's been like the hardest thing to me. And like, speaking of fear, I mean, I'm like, it's clearly like a different type of fear, but it's so, everybody goes through this. But like the whole fear of like putting something out there and not knowing how people are going to react. And if it's just going to be a total like flop. And it's kind of always sitting there with me. And I'm like constantly, again, trying to come to that like mind and being like, okay, like control the mind. And, but it's very real. It's like very, very real.
So I will tell you that if you don't have that feeling, you're not an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Then I'm like, okay, legit.
That
okay,
right there is like every day.
Yeah, every day.
That right there is normal. That's every day. Yes, that's it. But the thing is that you are gonna keep going, right? I mean, so you're not gonna stop. So that's the key. But like, yes, you will be challenged. That will happen to you. You'll be like, oh, I don't know, is anybody gonna even buy this? Like, no, you put it out there. There's obviously a need for it, right? There's a need for it. And your story really is very, 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 very compelling. And so like, if you share that story, I don't know how comfortable you feel with this, but like, I honestly feel like if you keep sharing that story, that will pull the people who will be your people to your brand. They will just automatically come because they'll be like, oh my God, yes, I could totally agree with that. Like I felt that, like, my cousin was 30 something when she went through her cancer situation. And I know she probably wanted something that would make her feel comfortable and beautiful while she's going through it. So, I mean, this is a story that is identified by many women, unfortunately, right? Because, and then Nisa went through the whole situation, but it is also something that a lot of people can relate to because they know someone. Because you mentioned before, it's like, unfortunately, is something that's very ubiquitous in our society, right? And so like, everybody knows someone who's touched by cancer. And a lot of people know someone who's touched by breast cancer.
Yes.
And, so this is something that will be an inspiration. Like, so you may be thinking about it like, okay, this is just my way of giving back and sharing, what my vision was for how beautiful, not how beautiful, but how the journey can be gone through without too many scars. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, that so the garment is a garment, but the garment is much more than that when
Well,
it's
that's what I
backed
feel.
by your story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because
the
people
garment-
are going to
go
buy
ahead.
your story. They're buying your story.
Because I was gonna say, like I didn't just, as I said, like I was never into fashion. I was never into, I liked clothes, but I was never like, it was just not something that I cared about a lot. And then it was just this, no, I want to create this because I honestly feel that there is this just bold, crazy, colorful, chic, whatever person inside of me that needs to be let out. And this is how I'm going to do it. And I also think that so many women feel that same way. And I want to help them. I want to help them do that.
And you will. You absolutely will. I believe it. I'm manifesting that for you. Okay.
Yay.
I believe it, So yeah, no, totally. I see it. I can't wait for you to launch. I feel like this is going to be amazing.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm like, going through all the peaks and valleys.
Yeah. All the feels. I'm sure. I'm sure. Awesome. So we are at the point in the show where we're going to be doing the fill in the blanks. Are you ready for that?
I'm totally ready. I even wrote
you have like your cheat sheet?
Yeah, got it. Don't tell people. I guess we'll tell people, but yeah.
All right, cool. No worries. All right. So the first one is, if I am fearless, I will.
If I am fearless, I will live the most beautiful, outrageous, full life that is possible for me.
Love it. And the next one is, to me, fearless freedom means.
It means unleashing this absolutely crazy, colorful, no boundaries spirit that is like inside of me and has been dying to get out for years and years and years and just hasn't known how.
That's what's up. That is what is up. Love it. And then last but not least, my battle cry is.
Oh yeah. My battle cry is unleash the rainbow within.
Oh, that's good. Yes, I love it. Oh, that's so awesome. Yes, you have to tell us one more time the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is casadanu.com. CASADANU.com. And that's the house. Basically, it means the house of Danu. And Danu is a Celtic goddess. She's one of the originating Celtic goddesses that is all about creation and kind of bringing things into fruition. And that is just, when I was thinking about what I wanted to name this brand, that just started coming to me. And so it's the House of Danu,
awesome.
Casa Danu.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah, no, that's good. And this has been quite a lovely conversation.
Oh, I loved it too. It's been so fun.
Yeah, it's lots of fun. I love doing the show. I mean, this is I don't know. It's just fun for me to talk to a lot of different people who are so interesting, like yourself.
I would imagine.
Because you and I would never have met, right? You wouldn't be here. You and I wouldn't have met at a business meeting or anything, or a medical conference. So there you go. No. So this is an amazing media that allows for us to be able to have a conversation and then to be able to share that conversation with, the people around us, which is pretty awesome. Because I believe that every single episode of the show, there's always going to be something that someone needs to hear at that moment that they're going to get from the show, right? Because we all have a frequency that we're emitting, and there's always someone on the receiving end that needs to hear that. And needs that pick me up, or it needs that tidbit about how they can face their fear or how they can go through what they're going through. So thank you so much for being on the show and taking time out.
No, thank you for having me. It's been amazing. I really appreciate it. And I've just loved being able to just chat with you and get to know you. So thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Fearless Freedom with Dr. G. Again, I'm Dr. G. And if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe so that you can get notified of when the next episode is going to be. And also, I'll catch you next time. Have a great one. Be strong, be brave, and unleash your greatness.